Very good morning to you, Dermot, or is it? Let's get to it, because it was a busy night for referees, so let's get straight to Old Trafford. Let's start with the most interesting one, perhaps, and that's Mike Dean was asked to have a look to see whether it should have been a red card for Jan Bednarek. First of all, was it a penalty, or was it a right card? You tell me you can't make yourself invisible. Bednarek tried to do that, so what's your thoughts on it, Dermot?
I didn't think it was a penalty, Rob. There's a lot of people I spoke to today who says it is. There's a lot of people who said it isn't. I think Bednarek, he goes to make a challenge. I think he realises he goes to pull out, and I think Martial drags his leg. That said, once the referee gives a penalty, it's checked by the VAR. They said it wasn't a clear and obvious error, and then obviously they've got to check whether there's a sanction, and VAR felt there should be a sanction and sent Mike over to the screen. When he looks at it, he sees the keeper hasn't got the ball, and therefore under the denial of a goal scoring opportunity, once a penalty's been given and approved, Bednarek unfortunately has to receive a red card.
So in your opinion, Dermot, I just want to clarify before I put it to Rene and to Charlie, you think it was a penalty but not a red card, or not even a penalty? How do you see it?
No, I didn't think it was a penalty. As I said, there's a lot of people I spoke to said it is. There's a lot of people who said it isn't. But for me, I think Martial drags his leg. I think he drags his leg into Bednarek, and I don't think it's a penalty.
So he initiates the contact. OK, Rene, how do you see that one? Penalty, not penalty, red card, not red card?
I have to agree with Dermot. When I looked at it as well, I think some certain players, they sort of anticipated a challenge coming in, and this was one of them, that he knew he was getting in front of Bednarek, and Martial, and he knew it was going to get close. And the moment that sort of, I always ask this this question myself: is that player being brought down, or did he choose to go down? And in my opinion, this was a case that he anticipated in Bednarek coming in, and he chose to go down, hoping for decision on a penalty. So for me, it would have been a penalty, and it would also not been a red card.
Charlie.
Yeah, I'm the same as the guys. I think it's not a penalty. I think Martial anticipates him making the contact from where he was in the pitch, and obviously the penalty box goes down. And I don't think it's a penalty. I don't think it's a red card. Can I ask Dermot a question? Dermot, before the game, would the referee look at a situation like that, and because Martial's got previous for this? Would he think of that situation in his mind? Okay, over the previous seasons, he's gone down a little bit too early or too easily. Would that be playing in the referee's mind at the time?
I think it's a great question, Charlie. And a thing I've always said in the past is that as a referee, very much like when you played, you have to prepare. There's no doubt about that. But be careful, You don't prejudge, because the danger is if you go in with that mindset, it might actually be a penalty, and you've actually talked yourself out of it. So be aware that could happen, but be mindful of you've still got to let the incident unfold.
Yeah.
There you go. OK, I wonder if the same thing was involved, maybe, in David Luiz's sending off. Charlie's already nailed his colours to the mast. Right, Dermot, was the right decision given here? Penalty and a red card. I
listened to the show earlier. I was listening to Rene and Charlie earlier, and it's interesting that when you look at this, the question is, was there actually a foul? And people said, we've looked and looked and looked and we're not sure. So on that basis, what you'd have to say, the on-field referee's decision was penalty. There is no conclusive evidence to prove it wasn't, so you have to default back to the on-field decision. Now, once the on-field decision is penalty and it's approved because it can't be proved wrong, night follows day. There's no doubt that if he makes a challenge like that and commits a foul, he hasn't made a genuine attempt to play the ball, and therefore it has to be a red card.
I might be misquoting Rene in particular here. And Rene, back me up here. I think what Rene said, actually, Dermot, was I've looked and looked and looked at it and I can't see any contact there. I think that's what you said, Rene, wasn't it? It wasn't I've looked and looked and looked at it and I can't make up my mind. It's I've looked at it and there's no way he touches him, Dermot.
Well, I think the referee's convinced he did, and the VAR, when he looks and he's backed the referee because he's saying he can't see that there is no contact. I think that's where you're at with this decision, Rob, that the on-field referee...
What do your eyes tell you, Dermot?
I think looking at the situation as it unfolded, I called penalty last night when I saw it. I also thought straight away that if he gives a penalty, it's going to be a red card. I saw the VAR look at it. I've looked at it over and over again. And I would have to support the referee because I can't see evidence that the referee has made a clear and obvious error. What you have to remember, Rob, is that the VAR isn't there to judge the referee's decision. It's there to decide whether he's made a clear and obvious error. And on the evidence there in front of me, I can't side that way.
Dermot,
so you know, so on you go, Rennie.
Can I just ask you, Dermot, because now there's no fans in the stadiums, and I was just thinking about it yesterday because I kept looking at it and I couldn't see it. But could it be that the referee is obviously in a different position, he's close to it, he's seen it, but he's probably maybe also heard something? Because the only thing that I can see with Luiz is that somewhere down the line, his knee must have obviously touched the Wolves player and therefore got him off balance and brought him down. You know, we can't hear that obviously when we are watching it on TV. So I thought, could it be something that helps, you know, referee make a decision like that?
Could well be, Rennie. I don't know. It's interesting watching the games. That it is different to referee. There's no doubt about that. But if you watch Craig Pawson, he's going down a good line. He's got a good view. He gives a penalty. He obviously runs it through his head. I mean, he makes his decision on a penalty very, very promptly. That's a penalty. And you can see he runs it through his head. Then he produces a red card because obviously he's thought in his mind, what sanction do I take? Has he made a genuine attempt to play the ball? No, therefore red card.
So you know, if David Luiz slides in and tries to attempt to play the ball and misses it and takes the player out, is that a yellow card?
Yes.
And a penalty?
This raised interesting debate last night, Charlie, in so much as somebody said, well, if he slides in and trips the player, he gets a yellow card. And I said, yeah, because it's deemed he's made a genuine attempt for the ball. Somebody said, well, why doesn't he just clean him out then and, you know, not take a chance he'll stop on his feet? And said, but bear in mind, if he does that, it's going to be a red card because it's going to be serious foul play. But
yeah, we had the same situation at Aberdeen Rangers earlier in this, a couple of weeks ago with the sending off as well, where he was clean through and goal. Well, he went through and there was no attempt to the ball, and he got a red card because if he'd slid in and tackled the player or took him out, it would have been a yellow and a penalty. Instead, it was a penalty and a red card.
Absolutely, and bear in mind, Charlie, also that only applies inside the penalty area. Outside the penalty, it would still be a red card, but inside the penalty, as you quite rightly say, because he slid in, he's deemed to have made a genuine attempt for the ball. He gets a yellow card because of the double jeopardy.